Part 3. If she's always not home, do I pack up all our personal papers as well as my stuff to take with me? Tax returns, mortgage info, car title. Essentially the whole file cabinet. Make it so she has no info to work with as she tries to figure out how to restructure her life without me. Also, we filed for an extension on our taxes this year and had planned to take them into file next week. Is it easy to switch to filing separately? And the remaining stack of bills on the table, do I need to pay these legally, or should I just leave them there? Didn't ask my lawyer that. She has spent all of her money in the last few weeks, credit and cash and checking. And all of ours that she can get her hands on. I have received pay in the last week that will set me up for a while, and I've not transferred any of it to our joint checking, which is where we usually pay our bills from. Hope the other man is prepared to take on her. She just texted me, any money come through? I decided to go to Vegas today, canceled the ticket home, but money isn't credited back yet. Guess it's time to put Dark Status into action, let him pay for her play money. This is going to be weird, guys. Going to buy boxes and packing supplies now. At the moment, I feel like my self-esteem is stronger than it's been in months. When she first came back from 10-week trip and all went cold, I took it on myself. And since I was already feeling down about gaining weight, etc., it had to be remedied. Have now lost 50 pounds in 7 weeks. And in a lot of ways haven't felt better in, well, maybe even years. That said, I have plenty of moments right now where the hurt of all this kicks in, but actually hiring a lawyer, seeing a therapist, and now going to buy boxes, packing stuff and preparing to walk out and show her who she's dealing with seems to be a boost right now. Even though it is going to be really hard to pull the trigger. Because I've never made such a decision before in my life. Deciding to marry was easy. This is a whole new decision. Don't imagine I could ever trust her again. I want to, but I don't think it's possible. She would have to move mountains over the next few months while I'm gone, and I don't see that happening. I see her feeling bad at first, trying to contact me, then trying to contact me more angrily. Then saying duck you and telling everyone around her what a lousy husband I was. We'll just have to see. Just logged into her Facebook and checked out profile of OM. His Facebook profile says he's married. I could never see this because I'm not FB friends with him. Is this avenue even worth pursuing anymore? I'd have to ask around to some of her work friends to find out anything, or hire a pie to research him for me. Not sure if I even want to go there anymore, but like I said, I'd really like to EFF up his life like he's done to mine. Round and around we go. As I mentioned, I did a record search earlier this week in the state he lives in. And it showed he was not married. Perhaps he was married in a different state than he lives now. And I'd have to search that state. Don't care if what I do about this right now, but I want a name, email and phone number for her so I can pull the strings from afar. Just send her a copy of the email that her D-bag hubby sent my wife with a link to dirty things, saying, just thought you should know. Also ask her if he was out of town last week. And if so, where? That ought to do it. Can't imagine I could mess them up any worse than she already has. She has run all her cards up to the breaking point in the last few weeks. Spent her business checking money and our joint checking money, and just lost her next job. She has one paycheck coming for the last week's contract. And while it will help her out, we've always gone back and forth as one of us makes more or less depending on the jobs we're working on. Both work freelance. I just this week, while she's been gone, received about 2 months' pay from a few clients that were 60 days out on payment, kind of sitting pretty at the moment. Have also set up a PO box that I'll start forwarding my mail to tomorrow. So when more checks for me arrive, she can't go drop them in the joint without me knowing. Also, we just sold her car last week. It was getting old and crappy. We didn't do it for the money. So it's just my car left. She'll come back to no money, no car, no job and no sucker husband to make it all better. I think I can safely say she'll be feeling a little stressed. I mentioned to lawyer that I have receipts for at least $3,000 in expenses that seem quite obviously for an affair. And that I was pretty sure of a few more thousand that I didn't have receipts for. He said that would be brought into account during the negotiation of the debts. Thinking about moving most of my stuff out, leaving and going to visit a buddy of mine out of town for a few days. I find it hard to deal with leaving her blind, as it's way out of character for me, but it's definitely on my mind as the strongest option. And way out of character may be the best thing for me to be right now. Hell, she certainly is. But, inevitably there'll be a face-to-face at some point. whether it be when she comes home or a week or two later when we have to meet over taxes, lawyer stuff, or if she tracks me down somehow and tries to talk to me. I will remain calm and try to record the audio on my phone just in case. Being very careful about who knows anything about this. No family, and only 2 friends that are loyal to me. A buddy was in town on work yesterday. Needed a place to stay. He's known her since 5th grade. He actually is the one that introduced me to her. We went out, had a good time. I let on nothing, even though we're quite close. Word gets back to her and I lose a lot here. Even if I leave town on twos, I think I'll only tell the 2 people that already know my situation. One would be the guy I'd travel to stay with for a few days. She'll be calling around trying to find out where I am. So she can scream at me, I presume, and surely, she'll come across those 2 people eventually. And hopefully they don't give me up, either way. Don't want to make it easy. Well, the other day she paid $500 to one of her credit cards out of the joint, probably to make a little room. That's a shared card, but it's maxed, minus $500. Her other cards probably have $100 or less left on them. From what she transferred from the joint last week, I'm guessing she probably has $600, maybe $700 in cash to play with. Unless she already spent it this last week. Our joint now has $200 in it, guessing she'll be dipping into that if worst come to worst. Not sure what she bought the new plane ticket with. Flyer miles, maybe. I told her earlier in the week I was still waiting on some checks, and they should be here soon. I was waiting. They've come since then though. And I haven't mentioned that they did. So, if she's careful, she should be able to pay the hotel bill, etc. But she won't be living it up Vegas style. Unless someone else covers her. That said, she'll be landing in Vegas in about an hour. Wonder if I'll be hearing more pleas for play monies tonight. Won't respond, but would be fun to just text back, "Guess you better win" on red. I mean, I've said before that we love wasting money. We're too good at it, going to Vegas. Or anywhere for that matter. Always costs us more than it should. And we make spending decisions on vacations all the time that can end up strapping us for a while. I don't care that she wants to waste money in Vegas. Nothing unusual there. I care that she wants to spend what we normally do on a vacation, but without me, and with 2 guys that I don't really know. And certainly have every reason not to trust. After I specifically told her it was not okay to go, and then when the money runs low, actually expects me to fund it as if I'm her partner in this. Text just now from her. Hello. Let her think I'm camping. I mean, how would she know? Not like she asked what I've got going on this weekend when we talked yesterday. My wife has always been quick to button pushing in pressure situations. When I confronted her the night before she left a week ago, she was calm and emotionless and calculated in her responses. As I too was doing, must have looked pretty odd. 2 people talking some serious crap with no apparent emotion, countering mine before I even had a chance to finish my sentence. My planned dialogue was turned around at each point with something that would diffuse the severity of what I was pointing out. Which would leave me saying, okay, but what about, which would lead her to the next counterpoint. If she said something hurtful, she let her rip as if it didn't matter. And I was wrong for questioning her. Holy crap. That's what an alpha does, facepalm. I think I stood my ground well, considering I had prepared well for the talk, but I left feeling like my points were invalidated before I had a chance to nail them down. Funny thing is, I'm much better at winning a debate than she is, but logic does not prevail with her. I can go round and round for hours and make my point perfectly 20 times, but still end up being confused as to whether or not I got the point across. But when the pressure's on, she's willing to let loose with whatever will either hurt the other person the most and shut them up, or whatever will confuse their argument and make them question why they're talking to her. She used to apologize the next day and say she was wrong if she was, though. Don't see this side of her often, but it's always been there to some degree. See it a lot more lately since I've been consciously standing up to this recent bull crap. I'm guessing since she knew she was covering things up, she had some stories in place to whip out as the need arose. Which is why I need to drop the big one and show her I couldn't care less about walking and see if that puts her off guard. If it doesn't, so be it. Why fight for that? If it does and the ball is in my court again, must leave anyway and let her decide what she cares about. Just realized she left her keys here. She has no way to get into the house when she gets back. That may sound funny, but I'm not going there. No car. No next job. No immediate money, no credit, no keys. I suppose I have to contact her in some way and tell her I can't pick her up tomorrow. Find a ride, and there's a key under the doormat. Have the petition in my hands as of this morning. Scared the crap out of me at first. When I signed this thing in front of a notary. What does that officially mean? I just sent my lawyer an email asking the same thing, but figured I'd ask here too because I'd really like to know. Does that mean that the papers are officially filed with the court? Or does it just mean I agree with what's in the petition and am prepared to move forward and officially file at a not predetermined future date? Mail just came, another check for me. Also, there was a notice from one of her credit cards regarding her recent request for a credit limit increase. And unfortunately, they were not able to approve it. That's about right. Who is this woman? Goes to show that even as she knew she was way overspending and jamming herself financially, she figured I'd be there to save the day. Even though she was disregarding me as a husband to my face. Also just intercepted an email for my wife from another company about a new last-minute job assignment. Would put her on the coast Wednesday morning. Don't know what she said, but if she doesn't come home tomorrow, I'm going to freak out here, guys. If she takes it, that would be par for the course. It's the OM city, I will have to fly out and throw down there. I think, shouldn't get ahead of myself here. But if she takes this job, I can't grasp the next step here, of course, just found out about this 3 minutes ago. So have no frame of reference yet, sigh. This cannot go on forever. I guess the one positive here is that I knew she actually had a job possibility before she started texting me about it, from the email intercept. If there was no email and she had just started texting about some new job that would be starting right away, I'd be jumping all over that one calling bull crap in a second. That said, suppose I should be careful about jumping to conclusions at all, considering that's exactly how it would have played out. And I would have been wrong. See why this circumstantial thing in general is hard to nail down. What I'm wrong about some of the other stuff too. Just making a point, it would be different if I left, she knew that I left, and then I still avoided her. That would be on purpose. Right now, she may assume I'm just being grumpy cause she went to Vegas anyway. And trying to be aloof, as opposed to actually being aloof. She may even think it's funny. He thinks he's going to get me worried. He'll be there smiling when I get back. It would also be different if she knew about all of the evidence that I've seen pile up the last week or two. Like that I knew the guy was traveling with her last week. Or that I've seen things in her email, like links sent from him and a note to him saying she really digs him and cares about him. And when his name pops up on her phone, she smiles. In hopes that he isn't just texting with her because he's chatty, but because he really does enjoy her company. Or that she texts with him till 2 a.m. most nights and first thing most mornings. Sometimes for hours. Didn't know the full extent of that until checking phone bill last week. She's a chronic texter anyway. But didn't know it was mostly him. Not talking about tomorrow, but if she is somehow affected by me serving her papers. 20-80 chance. Eventually she'll come asking WTF, and deny everything. I have no pics or video. Or even corroboration from a friend of hers on the road, though. If I come back to grab some stuff or something, I may be able to switch her email elsewhere, but at that point, why would I be snooping anymore? How do you stay strong when they start twisting your words around? Flat out going to Vegas with 2 guys after I caught her lying about it, confronted her, and told her not to do it for obvious reasons. She will poke holes bigger than the Sahara in anything I have to say. I mean, this guy has worked with her before, and may know some of the people on her team this last week. And she will say he was out to hang with the old gang. Of course, she did tell me he wouldn't be there. Which is why I suppose there's no need to tell her what I know. Just that I know. And that even if I didn't know anything more than the Vegas thing, and the lingerie waxing, that the way she treated me when confronted with that was unacceptable in itself. Yes, I'm answering my own questions here. Just got tomorrow on the brain, and I'm starting to play out how things could go right. And how they could go wrong, and how to deal with it as it comes at me. Off to the bar for an hour or two with a buddy. No worries, not going to go overboard, big day tomorrow. Just noticed she texted my buddy for like 20 minutes tonight, got to stop checking this crap, seriously. The one who stayed here the other night. Guy that introduced us back in the day. I swear I said nothing to him about this mess when we went out that night, but I'm wondering if he sensed something. Paranoia. I guess I was a little aggressive in general, but I've been working out hard for 7 weeks straight. My testosterone is propped through the roof. And he's a workout nut, so we talked about that. he travels all the time for work too. Maybe he got some unhappiness from me in our conversation. I really think I was in control, damn it. Well, if he did, rock on, she can sweat about it, her turn, but I swear I said nothing. The friend was in town on work, came over, he commented on how I look like a whole different person from when he last saw me. Wait. We went out for a sandwich and a couple beers. He started talking about being away from his wife and kids so much lately for work. I responded with saying yeah. It can get to be kind of hard if it goes on too long, have to have a plan in place to take some time off, etc. He said it must be hard with her out of town so much lately. I said, well, of course, yeah. I'd love for her to take a few months off and relax, forget about the next job, let me pay the bills while she unwinds, you know. Snow job considering the last few weeks, months, of course, but the sentiment was true nonetheless. I did get a bit irritable for a moment when some guy pushed me to get by at the bar. I mean pushed me, and they didn't even look or excuse themselves. I kind of looked over my shoulder at him and said, guess I was in your way, huh? Out of character for me, I told my buddy, jokingly. Man, that guy needs a good back kick, huh? I haven't been in a fight since the 5th grade. I had previously told him how I'd taken up boxing a few weeks ago. It was fun to let out some aggression from the fitness side of things. I was joking, but looking back I really found it fun to entertain the idea of causing some crap. Wouldn't have actually done anything like that, but maybe he was surprised to see me out of character in that moment. Don't know, maybe that was obvious, didn't seem like it at the time, was really trying to be careful and have fun. I think as a friend I'm closer to him now than she is. We work together on freelance jobs and hang out every month or so when he's in town, and she's usually gone lately. But they have known each other since they were kids, hard to trump that. Whatever, really not worth thinking about. Is it possible she set him up to drop by his recon? I guess, doubtful, and honestly, I cleaned my computer before he showed up, delete my history and cookies, temps, etc. Not because I don't trust him, but just in case he needed to check his email or something on my machine. My divorce lawyer, etc., coming up in the search bar or whatever to pique his curiosity for any reason. Like I said, only 2 people know about this. Besides the multitude of you guys, that is. They never had a relationship that I know of. If they did, it would have been in 7th grade. He lives about 3 hours from here, so she wouldn't call him for an easy drop-by or airport pickup. He was in town on work. He's a computer and networking guy though. He knows more about my rig than I do, and I built the thing, and he slept on the couch downstairs, next door to my office, while I was in the bedroom upstairs. I don't know what today will bring. I'm strong, then I'm weak. I'm gone, then I'm confronting her face to face. I'm saying the word divorce right away. Then I'm laying down a foundation first. I slept like crap last night and I have a list of things to do today, all related to this. Not work or anything. So thank God for that at least. I have an appointment with the therapist today. Hopefully he can help ground me. Deep down, I would love for reconciliation to be possible here. I know things would never be the same. I think the important thing for me right now is to not present that to her as a viable option for her to work with and manipulate me with. If she truly sees the error in her ways and lays it all out on the table for me and shows a massive commitment to wanting to regain my trust and our marriage, my heart would of course be breaking with hope, last 2 months notwithstanding. I have treasured our marriage, that being the case. I'd need to tell her that I don't know what difference it could possibly make, but that if she wants to talk, I can at least promise to listen. If she doesn't, then I'm gone and she'll be hearing from my attorney. Please don't assume this means I'm going back on my word of infidelity being a deal breaker, guys. I do mean that. But I've also alluded many times in the thread to being hopeful that there may be a possible way through this crap storm back to good times in the future. With her. Don't know, does she deserve it right now? No, as her husband and partner of 8 years, should I give her a chance to try if she really wants to? I think so, just not now, and the onus would be on her to make that happen, not me, in any way, shape or form, until she worked her way to a point of deserving some concern from me again. She texted earlier, should I plan to take a cab or are you going to be available to pick me up? That's a good sign she's aware of my disposition. She never has had to ask that before. I texted back time. She said 6:30, I replied with you got to take a cab, we'll be working downtown. We'll leave a key under flower pot, she said cool. End of conversation. I will come home about an hour after she will have gotten there. I have decided to go with direct confrontation, right away. I know it might not give me the most bang for my buck in jarring her in an instant, but at least I will have given her a chance to speak after I'm done, before disappearing. No matter the outcome, I'll be leaving for at least a couple of days and will go dark. Plan to tell her I have things to say to her, and I want her to listen until I'm done, then we'll tell her I know all about what's been going on. Hardest decision I've ever made to even be here when she got back. As a result, have spoken to attorney, papers drawn up, prepared to move on. Will not be her second priority, life, love, anything. I'm her husband, I get top billing in all things from her. Same goes from me to her. That's marriage. If our marriage is just on paper, then can't see a point. That her actions show me she doesn't value our marriage. If she does value it, then I will give her a chance to tell me everything about what's been going on. Tell me her side, from the beginning, everything, who, what, when, where, why, and it will be the truth. Don't lie, don't tell me only what you think I already know, because I know plenty. I know enough. If she's not willing to do that, I'll be leaving tonight and she will hear from my attorney and I will wish her a happy single life. If she is willing to do that, I'll tell her I won't promise it'll make any difference to me, but I will promise to listen. I will still be leaving for a few days even if she takes the talking option, but will address that after she's done. Then tell her she has the floor. I won't let her cut me off. If she does, I'll put up my hand and calmly say you said you would listen until I'm done, when she's talking. If she does, I'll not cut her off, or join into any argument she may try to start. If she starts crying, I will not comfort her. I'll just let her regain her composure on her own. She knows she's in the wrong. If she gets angry or starts screaming or hurling insults, I'll walk out of the room and start grabbing my bag and any other incidentals I'll be taking with me and say not going to argue. I'll be in touch in a few days, and maybe we can talk then. This is the way it's going to go down, folks. Wish me luck. I am prepared for any response, mainly by being silent and taking the high road and not enabling her to escalate things. I know it won't go as planned by any means, but I think I'm ready. We'll be recording audio. She just texted that she's home. I've checked into my hotel and had a small bite to eat. We'll be heading over soon. $10. She's already looking through my office and finding lots of things missing. Talked with one of the friends I've talked about this just now. He says she texted him earlier. Said she was kind of in a dark place. He asked if she's okay. She said she will be someday. She knows she's walking into a crap storm, guys. Don't know if that's good or bad. Guess it doesn't matter. I'll find out shortly. Deep breaths. What the hell am I doing? Denied everything. Caved. Mention of attorney did not help. All she keeps mentioning now. So, when I came home last night she was on the phone and crying. I think, great, now I have to put the smackdown on her and she's already crying before I even start. I waited till she was off the phone, asked her what's wrong, same crap as before, down about not getting next job, whatever. I let it go, poured a drink and went out back. She followed suit about 5 minutes later. She came out, smiled, still crying and puffy, comes in for a hug. I half reciprocated and said, welcome back. 20 minutes of small talk. I let her say whatever she wanted and didn't add much to the conversation or smile, laugh. She started to relax. She said, tell me you want to go out tonight. I said, not really, then steeled up and jumped in. I said, well, I want to talk to you right now as that may determine whether or not I want to go out tonight. Her defenses go up and she says, oh great, fine, not what I wanted to do when I got home. I went through pretty much exactly what I said I would say. She listened. Cut me off a few times and I said you would listen till I finished, please, had to do that a few times. When given the chance to speak she kept saying what do you mean what's been going on? I didn't do anything, I calmly said I told you I know plenty. I know enough to be having this conversation. Gave her several chances to open up, finally, I said, okay, I'll start you off, tell me when things started getting inappropriate with the other man. Clearly nobody finds me attractive or wants me. I stared at her and said nothing. Finally, I said, okay, tell me why he sent you these dirty emails. And why you didn't tell him to duck off, then tell me immediately, how is that considered inappropriate? Another man sending it to my wife is unacceptable, and he knows that. You know that, and you clearly didn't tell him to stop. She said I was on the road with all guys for 10 weeks. It was a joke. He's kind of a loser. He sends stupid crap like that all the time. I said, to everybody. Or just you. She said, well, I guess that was just to me. I said, how is that not a huge deal? and a huge breach of another person's marriage. What would you think if a girl was sending me these materials? She agreed that looked bad, and then started shutting off. She's like, just tell me what your attorney has planned. Awesome. So, you get all the money. I have no car, and I'm stuck with this house, in my name. Great, just tell me where to sign. I'm sure your attorney has great plans for me. Then she got up and went inside. I waited a while, then went in to continue. Prob shouldn't have. She was crying and turned off completely for a while. I said, I told you I don't want to do this. I just feel I have no choice. Instead of respecting me when I told you about my concerns last week, you didn't do everything in your power to show me. I was wrong. You did the opposite. You took the lingerie you said you wouldn't take, you left your ring, and you told me you were going to Vegas anyway. If you brought up serious and valid concerns about me lying and acting disrespectfully and unfaithfully, I'd move heaven and earth to prove to you that wasn't the case. You should have done that, but instead you tried to make me even more suspicious. She agreed, and then threw a few more attorney comments and where do I sign zingers at me. She was really pissed that I actually saw an attorney. Then I got soft. I realized I have to walk away and file right now, and she's saying she wants to sign. I got scared. I backed off a little again and said, nothing has been filed. You treated me horribly before you left, and I needed you to know how much that hurt me. Don't want a divorce, but don't want our marriage to be like this. And you need to know how important this is to me. She started telling me how she just felt so ugly and no one can love her. And great, she's 36 now and I have no hope of ever getting laid again. No one can love me, crying, really hard to watch. Told her of course she's sexy as hell and I've been coming at her like a bull for months and she's pushed me away. I want to show you what you're working with. Give you all of what you need, just let me in. Then I said, just come over here and tell me you're sorry for everything you've done and that you understand how and why I reacted the way I did. I'll tell you I'm sorry for taking steps that hurt you in return. Hug me and we'll forgive this crap and move on with our lives together. That's all I want right now. I want to trust you, but you have to show me you realize what a huge deal this is and take steps to make it right. My body being inserted back into her purse here. I know. She said she wanted to, but can't get there in 5 minutes. And then we went out, got drunk and pretended everything was all right. I stayed at home last night, did not sleep together. Did not want to, but have to admit I may have given in if she had offered. Felt like a wuss, but it felt good for both of us to just have fun, of course. Woke up in the morning and felt like a dumb boy. Found a pair of panties that looked weird, just before she put in the wash. I have them. This could be huge, if it comes back positive. I will walk hard, if not. I don't know what to do now. More later. Sure, I left out a lot here, just wanted to get this out while I could. Comments. So why is she behaving that way? There are basically two possibilities. The first is that she doesn't care about you or the marriage. If that is the case, then you know what you need to do. Don't walk, run. The second possibility is that she does care but is caught in the high and is confident that she can manage you. If I had to guess from what you've posted, I'd say it is the second, and you know what, she's right, she can manage you. There is no shame in that. It is a basic reality of your relationship. You can decide for your own health that you cannot be in a relationship with this power imbalance. Or the two of you can somehow get to a place where you both manage the imbalance in a way that no one gets hurt. Which is not where you are now. Over time perhaps you can diminish the imbalance. But you are so outmatched at present that there will, I suspect, always be some imbalance. Anyone who tells you to man up is a fool. You are a man, and a good, level-headed one, but you are not in her league where manipulation is concerned. Please remember that just because she is stronger in this way, that does not make you weak. So, there is a way forward, but it involves recognizing the present imbalance. You can be managed, and she is capable of doing so in the most hurtful of ways. I have read your whole thread pretty much in real time. There were only really two decision points. The first was when you decided to forego a pie in Vegas and try instead to talk her out of going. I admired your willingness to try to bring her around, and I don't think you did any harm. You could have handed her a video of her and the two guys going at it, and she would still have managed you last night. The second decision point was deciding to stay for a conversation rather than leaving your note. The rings and the divorce papers. Your heart was in the right place. But this was a critical mistake, because you cannot be managed when you are not present. She needed to feel the loss without experiencing the power to prevent it. Had you gone dark, and had you consistently thereafter left her presence whenever she tried to manage you, you might have been able to make the connection in her brain between managing you and losing you. Remember, you cannot fight off her attempts to manage you. You can only leave. So, there is a road forward, but it involves recognizing that she has power over you that you will not change, at least not easily or quickly. The first thing that you must do is determine whether she cares about you or the marriage. In order to do that, you probably need to leave. If you can do so while monitoring what she is up to, all the better. But she has to come after you. If she does, then you can set conditions, including all the ones that have been discussed, but you must both also train yourselves to recognize when she is managing you. And you must train her to abstain from doing it by being ready to leave. This is the core issue of your marriage, and while she is reprehensible for using her power as she has, the power imbalance is in fact neither of your fault. OP responds, I did mention OM at hotel next door. She said he was there hanging with the work team. They had all worked together up until about a year ago. Knew that's what he'd say, didn't want to engage on any details of what I knew. It just happened because she stonewalled me. Should have left. I know, we had bonded 3 times in the 2 days prior to her 10-week trip. She did not leave grumpy. You all know she pulled away from me after that trip. She has turned me down since then. Even when I tried to just take her the night before she left for the next gig, and the next one. I tried a dozen or more times in the few weeks she was home. If the panty checks back positive, I will leave in a heartbeat. Really want to ravage her, but she knows she doesn't deserve it right now, and then she'll fully be running the show. If that's possible. Sorry it didn't go as planned, but the tables have turned again. If I jump right back into fighting her on things she's already denied, she'll make it my issue. She has been all affectionate today and is pretending nothing happened. Clearly so am I. But we both know there's a gorilla out there that needs to be addressed again. Question is when. She won't bring it up. So it's up to me. The test would be really good to head right now, then I could just walk and she would know it's done and on her. Also, why I can't post as much. I'm trying so hard here it hurts. Just couldn't pull the trigger as planned last night and now feel temporarily stuck with the outcome until I can regroup. My comment. Part 4 will come. I am working on it as fast as possible. Trust me, so. Sub and bell and see you in